we don't. You waited until this special weekend, Drew McIntyre, for us to reconnect after talking 4 times in 2021.
Yeah, big comeback at big WrestleMania and big WrestleMania access. I'm actually still looking around myself to see what's available here, all the cool stands, and there's Undertaker's graveyard over there you can't see on camera, but I'm just fanboying out right now and I want to run around check it out when there's nobody here.
So what's the one thing you really want to look at and really take in for a couple minutes?
I mean, the first thing is definitely Undertaker's graveyard that's got my attention, but like there's the title store over there that's got all the current and old titles. I'm always excited about that. I love the stuff like call a match because it is really difficult to do. And I love when fans kind of give it a chance and they find out it's not so easy to call a WWE match, but I still love trying it. There's a peacock parlor over there. I can't tell if it's to get your hair done or if you're getting tattoos. There's all sorts here.
If you had a chance to call a match, what match would it be?
I'll go Bret Hart, Stone Cold, WrestleMania 13.
Why?
It's probably my favorite match. It's definitely my top 3 for sure. It's just such a perfect match. Bret Hart was my favorite wrestler growing up. Became a big fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin about the same time as the entire world did. He transcended wrestling, made it cool. Everyone in my school was talking about wrestling because of him. My uncles were talking about wrestling because of him. And they came together in this awesome match at WrestleMania where Bret Hart went in as the good guy, the hero. Stone Cold went in as technically the bad guy, but more of the anti-hero. Yeah. And by the end of the match, they'd switched roles and told such a compelling story through this amazing match. And by the end, Bret was truly the bad guy. Steve was clearly the good guy, even though he was the good guy, flipping people off and cursing the whole time.
Do you wish that we would see more double turns like that in wrestling?
I mean, if they make sense. There's no point of doing it if it's just for the sake of doing it. If it's really going to make an impact, really going to catch attention, then absolutely. Like when it came to Bret, becoming like a bad guy only in America and a good guy all across the rest of the world, loved across the rest of the world. That was so unique for the times. And for Stone Cold, it was so clear, even though we'd never had a good guy that acted the way he acted. Times were changing, society was changing, and Stone Cold was the perfect guy, was clearly going to be a good guy. And you look at someone from the modern times like a Roman Reigns, people have been begging and pleading for him to do something different over the past few years. And he finally changes up his act. He finally starts embracing who he really is, being more of himself. I guess more of a bad guy. And it's caught on like wildfire. And he's doing the best work of his career.
What do you talked about Steve a little bit, and you're going to be wrestling on night 1, and Steve is going to be returning on night 1. And what do you make of seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin returning to WrestleMania?
It's awesome. I'm so excited just to go out in the arena and listen for the glass breaking. The fact that Steve's able to come back, after 19 years, and we've had him featured in like small spots here and there where he might hit a stunner and he's always going to drink some beer, always going to raise some hell and have a good time. But he's made it very, very clear that he's intending to do more physicality than he's done in a very long time. So I'm sure with him and Owens, it'll be entertaining, but I'm sure, and was guaranteed with Stone Cold out there and the message he's put out there that's going to break down into a fight. And we're going to see the Stone Cold of old.
Is that one where you go into the arena, leave the back and come get into the arena just to feel what that's like?
100%. I can't even imagine how loud it's going to be. Aside the fact that it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, that it's WrestleMania, there's so many people coming together. We're also in his home state of Texas. The reaction when that glass breaks is going to be absolutely unreal. It's almost like you can't help yourself. And I guarantee people that are there perhaps have not watched WWE for a while. Maybe they've never watched it. They're with their friends and family and experiencing WrestleMania for the first time. When that glass breaks, they'll find themselves not able to control themselves. Their feet will just lose control. They'll jump to their feet and their hands will be in the air. That's what that glass does. It's a weird feeling because I've been in the crowd when I was a kid when it hits. And I was just I was standing up, I was enjoying myself, and the glass hit. My arms just did this. I was like, oh, I didn't even mean to do that. You just get so caught up. Everything about Austin was perfect, from the attitude, the swagger, the talk, but also to set the tone, the entrance music.
We need to get you like that, Drew. Get a middle finger swagging in the air.
Love to.
You could break some cans with the sword. Did you get the sword back, by the way, or no?
I did not.
Wasn't happy with Corbin doing that.
Yeah, I've got SmackDown tonight. I've got a lot of evil intentions in mind. You know, I was already planning to beat him up pretty good for WrestleMania, and I was being kind of, blasé about it. I was I'm going to beat him up. As simple as that. He tried to mess me up at day one. He tried to break my neck at day one. I came back. I'm going to hurt him. Now he's going to take something important to me, something that's named after and tribute to my late mother. I'm going to cause some hell tonight. I'm going to get my hands back in that sword, and just for that act, I'm going to absolutely destroy him. Worse than already was going to destroy him at WrestleMania tomorrow. Embarrassing.
I know you had the neck issue, and I know we had chatted a little bit just to see how you were feeling. You said you were feeling pretty good right after it happened. And how is the neck feeling? And were you worried at all because of the neck that you would be missing WrestleMania?
Yeah, I feel good right now. Initially, I was very worried that I was going to miss WrestleMania. I was told, like, you're going to miss Royal Rumble. There's a good chance you're going to miss WrestleMania, depending how everything pans out. And initial tests, initial doctor visits didn't look too good. But after, a couple of weeks of more extensive tests, more extensive rehab for myself, and a lot of hoping and a lot of luck, I guess, I got the good news that, hey, you're looking good. It's not what we thought it might be, which was great news. And you're going to be cleared to get back at Royal Rumble. And getting cleared for Royal Rumble, that was very, very last minute. The second I knew I could go, I was basically telling WWE, hey, I'm coming back at Royal Rumble whether you like it or not.
I was there, Drew, in our paths didn't cross. Every time you said you weren't in Chicago, Drew, I was for Raw. I was there. WWE said, hey, do you want to come on? I was there. I was looking for you. You were not there.
No, I wasn't.
I think you're
there.
scared.
No,
I think you're scared.
Well, that's just not true at all. That's just not true at all. Because I wanted to have a big surprise for everybody at Royal Rumble when I came back. I didn't show up to the building at Royal Rumble, and it was a big stadium show, just similar to WrestleMania here, until about 6 p.m. or so. The show's going on the air at like 8. Yeah, I snuck in, my hoodie on, and just went straight to the back. I didn't want anyone to know I was there. I wanted it to be a surprise, and I wanted to kind of shock even my colleagues who were sending me all the messages, checking in on me, which I appreciate very much, to say, hey, there's a reason they used to call me the Scottish Terminator. You can't keep me down for long.
What's your favorite Terminator movie?
2. I think it's like, yeah, most movies I like the original better, but Terminator 2 is far superior.
No, you're not. After that, they should have just stopped. There was no need for anything else after 2. 2 was just.
I mean, I still watched.
Totally different level.
I was such a huge Terminator fan, big Arnold fan growing up, so I still watched Terminator 3, and I didn't mind the newest one. Was that Genesis?
Yeah.
With the girl from Game of Thrones. Yeah.
It was okay.
Whatever. Yeah. I had that one line at the end, was like, protect my Sarah. I was like, tugging at the heartstrings, and I looked at my wife who just didn't care. I was like, how is this not upsetting you? So emotional.
This year's a little different for you. You look at the last 2 WrestleManias. You headlined WrestleMania 36, and then you opened night 1 with Bobby and for wrestling for the title. And then you're in a different role this year facing Corbin. And does that take some adjustment for you just because you've been in high profile positions the last 2 WrestleManias and now you're in a good program and a lot of people are excited about the match, but you're not competing for the belt?
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of this industry. There's going to be peaks and there's going to be valleys. Like everything goes like this, unless you're in, Cena's position and it's all here, or Roman, and maybe just they'll dip slightly and mostly stay up here. For the majority, it's going to be a constant fight, a constant, you're up high, then maybe something's going to knock you down. You're in a storyline that's maybe not as compelling. You might have to dip a little bit, but it's up to you to keep fighting, keep making it interesting, make the best of whatever situation you're in, because we're 52 weeks a year. So it's not going to be the focus on you for the entire 52 weeks. Unfortunately, if that time's around WrestleMania, you might be in not as much of a high profile match. But for me personally this year, the big thing is I was perhaps not going to make Mania full stop. I have an interesting storyline going on with a guy who did try and take me out. And that's what it's about this year. The first year was about, the glory and getting the chance on the big stage to take out Roman Reigns after he returned from leukemia. That was like a big, return match for me on Mania. Then it was about the title and beating Brock. Then, as you say, hey, Bobby Lashley fighting for the title once again. So that was all about glory and titles. So this year, I guess from a storyline perspective, from a character perspective, this one's personal. It's like in the movies, like this was this, but this time for Drew, it's personal. So every year is going to be different, and then next year I'm sure it'll be something different as well. But ideally, I'll be fighting for the title.
And talking about the title, and I know you've been doing some loops with Roman, and what level is he on right now? Just, you talked about it earlier, just like where he's at right now, but just being in the ring with him recently, what have you noticed from now compared to when you faced him at WrestleMania 35?
Yeah, he's definitely fully embraced who he is. And because I guess there's no handcuffs on whatsoever. His previous incarnation, he has to stay within the confines of the character that he's playing. And that was clearly not the real him. I'm sure he knew that, and everybody watching knew that. And that's why he perhaps got the reactions he got, as good as he was, as good as he is, as good as he looked, as good as he represented the company. It was like it wasn't quite him. He was playing the part, and that's as good as he was at the time. Yeah. Very good. Now, like, he's not playing any part. He is the part. That's him. That's 100% him with the volume turned up. That's who he is these days. And you can feel it when he talks. He doesn't have to sit there and like write out a big monologue. He can walk out there, just say what's inside, because he's truly just being himself and emoting whatever situation he's in. He's just letting it out to the world what's going on inside. And when it comes to the matches themselves, he's exactly the same. Like, he's such a good storyteller, and that's always been one of his biggest attributes. He's so good at the storytelling aspect of this industry, which is at the core what it's all about. We're storytellers. He's always been so good at it, but these days on the microphone, but especially during the matches as well, he's constantly telling a story. He's constantly in the moment. Being in the ring with him now, and I can see what he's doing. I keep an eye on him sometimes, and he's always present. He's always in that moment. I see some of my other opponents kind of slipping out in the moment and thinking, where do I want to go next? What do I want to do next? Thinking about moves, etc. When you've got Roman, you look in his face. He's very present in that exact situation in the match, which in turn makes the crowd feel a certain way, because they're like, wow, this guy's different. Whatever he does, when he's on that mic, when he walks through the curtain, when he's in those matches, he feels different, and he presents himself different. That's why he's here right now, and I'm working to get to that level.
Roman, Brock, title unification. I have to get your pick, Drew. Who's going to win?
Ooh, it's a tough one. I get history with Brock. Managed to defeat him, but then again, that was previous incarnation of Brock, not Cowboy Brock, which somehow is more terrifying because he's happy all the time, and I know how dangerous he is. Everyone does. He's got this big smile on my face, like, how you doing, y'all? Let's have a good old time. And you're like, man, you're the most dangerous person in this entire company, and one of the most dangerous people on earth. Take that smile off your face. That's scarier. And then you've got Roman in his current incarnation, which I know all about. The last match we had, he got to learn what I was about, got the family involved, low blowed me, choked me out inevitably. And that's the difference maker right there. I think no matter what happens, Roman's willing to do absolutely whatever it takes. Brock's just like a freight train. He's just going to come at you straight ahead and keep going. I think Roman knows that. He's been in the ring with him a bunch of times. He's going to have a game plan. He'll do whatever it takes to take down Brock.
I think you got to get Brock down to Nashville.
Yeah, I do.
You and Brock in Nashville.
Brock, Cowboy Drew, Cowboy Brock, the Nashville Warrior, the Scottish Cowboy. Just head downtown. I've got my cowboy boots. I've got my kilt. I've got my hat all ready to go. And obviously Brock does too. What a team. Imagine we teamed up. That's what we should do. Like, whatever happens with Mania, if Roman does win, I'll be gunning for him. If Brock wins, I'll be gunning for him. But if Roman does win, aside the fact I'll be gunning for the title and Roman, maybe Brock and I will team up at the same time and create the most devastating cowboy team of all time.
You should pitch that to creative. You could tell them you just did this interview and this is the idea you want to do after WrestleMania. I think that's a great idea.
I would just pitch it to Brock. I feel like he'll get stuff done. I wouldn't even go into like the whys. So I'll just sit down and go think about it. The Cowboys.
Cowboys. Who's gonna mess with you? You guys can run rugshot over the tag team division.
Oh, love it. I love it. Make a note. Brock and I are gonna be the Cowboys, Scottish Cowboy and Cowboy Brock.
You said a little bit there. Are you calling? You do what you expect to do tomorrow night. Are you calling next? Are you calling out you want the winner?
I absolutely want the winner. When I came to SmackDown, I understand that it's 52 weeks a year, that I don't have to jump straight to the finish line. I'm willing to work my way up, run through as many people as I have to run through, know that Roman's going to duck me. Every corner he could possibly duck me, considering what happened in our last match. And he knows he's just one kick away from losing that title. but I've went through enough people. I feel like I'm at the stage now that it's time to show the world what I can truly do. And if I can't step up to Roman's level or Brock's level, whoever ends up being champion, then quite frankly, I don't want to be part of SmackDown. It's as simple as that. I'm there to be the best. I'm not there to be the first runner-up, the first loser.
He will be facing Happy Corbin coming up on WrestleMania Saturday, taking place on Saturday, April 2nd from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. You can watch it here in the United States on Peacock and everywhere else around the world on the WWE Network. It's the first time we've chatted in 2022, Drew. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time today. It means a lot. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, my friend. I'm looking forward to the big match, and I look forward to you challenging the winner. And the next time we talk, hopefully it's you're challenging for the belts against either Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar.
No, thank you, buddy. As always, appreciate you, and I will be. So we'll be talking about that next time.
Yes, sir. Drew, have a good one. Best of luck tomorrow, Drew. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Take care.
You too, Drew.